Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 33 at the Warehouse Underground podcast, Real Talk, for warehouse, DC, and FC professionals of all levels around the globe. I'm Ben, the host of the show, and joining me on the show today, very cool guest. His name's Carlos Cody. He is an executive operations leader in the world of fulfillment, focusing on scaling systems, developing leaders, and driving profitable growth. Now, he's working in the Amazon fulfillment world right now, but really he's all over the scene, all over on LinkedIn. He's on the podcast circuit, so I've seen him on a couple of podcasts talking about some very cool stuff, very insightful leadership stuff that people want to know about. And we'll talk more about that in the show. He's also a published author, so he has a book, The Leadership Reset, which we will talk about later in the show. And in general, a fantastic resource, mentor, leader for people to learn from, hear from, and really understand if they want to progress in the world of fulfillment, which he is right at the heart of. So very excited to talk with him today. First guest of 2026 will be a fantastic one. And with that, I will bring him onto the stage. Carlos, my friend, thank you very much for appearing on the Warehouse Underground podcast. How are you today, sir?
Man, I am doing excellent and really appreciate the introduction and just grateful to kick off the new year, spending time with you, talking about the things I love, warehouse and leadership.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love that too. And so I talked a little bit about it in the intro. You're well trenched in the world of fulfillment center operations. You've been a leader at all level, and now you're working at Amazon. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But can you just tell the audience a little bit about your background? Kind of where you came from, what you've worked on, and what steps have you had along the way, leading yourself up to where you are today?
Yeah, so I would say my background is definitely unique. And because of this, I started my actual career in supply chain in high school. I was looking
Oh,
for a quick way to make some money and literally went to work in a distribution center. And the funny thing is, after I got done working there, I said I would never, ever do this again. And and fast forward now, I'm back in operations and I absolutely love it. I really do get fulfillment from it. There's just so much that comes with it. There's the leadership part of it, there's the personal development, there's the ability to innovate, and you get to work with a large group of people. And at the end of the day, I feel like my calling and mission is really to inspire, motivate, and empower others to reach their potential. So that's my why. That's my why for why I go to work because of the amount of people that I have an impact with. As far as like operations, I have worked for 3PL. I have worked in fulfillment. I've worked distribution, logistics, so full spectrum. I've worked at Walmart, DHL, GXO, and of course now being at Amazon. And I would say the thing that really got me started in this was in college. I read a book, John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and that
yep.
book absolutely changed my life. I knew when I was reading that book because I read it in like a week for a
Yep.
semester, read the book in a week, and I
Yep.
couldn't put down the book and I just kept going back to it. And that's where my leadership journey really started, understanding that one, I have to lead myself, and then the impact of what leadership can do for someone else when they really truly understand that at the end of the day, the most important person you're ever going to lead is yourself, right?
Yep.
And as you lead yourself, you're going to influence others in helping them lead themselves better. But man, I tell you, when you begin to teach leadership to others and you start to see the transformation happen, that is what gets me excited and that is what wakes me up, and keeps my energy high when I go to work every day, just knowing that me just showing up as myself and bringing my best self to whatever environment I'm in, I have the ability to influence and impact someone's life, whether it's at work, whether it's at home. I just know that leadership is that mental that once you get it and you begin to invest in it, it literally impacts everything in your life. So that is why I do what I do.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned when you first start working in a fulfillment center, the very first time you go in there, like you talked about, it reminds me of your first week in high school when you're a freshman. This is terrible. You're tired. You don't know where anything is. You're behind all the time and stressed out. But by the time you're a junior or senior, you love high school. You're doing all these other things. So that's so true. Life inside FC is crazy. But when you start to really get into the leadership part of it, like you mentioned, then that's when the light bulb really starts to go on.
Yep.
And that I agree that can be very invigorating when you start to see other people get it and understand it, and you see them development. I love that, man. I'm glad that you found that light bulb moment, and look at you today. You carrying on and helping other people. So I respect that. So now let me ask this question. So I worked at Amazon. You work at Amazon. There's many people that follow me that do work at Amazon, but some don't. I have a lot of people that just work in regular warehouses, and they're always curious about what is a day in the life like inside of an Amazon ops building, because everybody hears lots of different things about it. And so, but for you, from your seat, kind of what's a day in the life like for you and your teams? And I know it's going to be slanted because you're just coming off peak, but in general, what's it like there?
Yep, I would tell anyone that no day is the same. Although we have routines, we have leadership standard of work, you have your routines, but no day is the same. You don't know what you're going to come into. And the reason I say that is at any given point, equipment can go down. At any given point, as a leader, you're always constantly going to be dealing with the emotions of people. You don't know how people are going to show up for that day. So in that aspect, no day is the same. But for a leader in Amazon, the systems and the processes really do not change day to day, right? You're gonna come in, you're going to review the plan for the day. There's one thing we always terminology we use at Amazon: know the plan, nail the plan. Right, the first part of it is knowing the plan, and then what are the inputs that are going to allow us to nail the plan. Now, my day starts a little bit different. I do add in the part of I'm big on getting people's mental right before the day starts. So usually my day starts with reading something, and I am sharing a nugget, I'm sharing a quote, and I'm sharing something that someone can do today to build and develop their leadership skill. So for me, the communication piece is so important. The training piece of daily leadership guidance is so important. So I start my day with vision. I start my day with, hey, this is our plan for the day. But I also communicate it in a way to where I am attaching um, my leaders' goals to those outcomes, right? Like people come to work. Yes, people want to be successful at Amazon. People are very ambitious and they want to hit the business goals. But at the end of the day, the real reason people come to work is to fulfill the goals that they have for themselves. So I feel like it is my role as a leader to ensure that whatever we are doing daily, that I can tie that to some tangible outcome, something that is building not only the business, but building the person, that's the people that are leading the business. So that's the first part. And then the second part is, I would say, there are the things that you have to manage, right? We lead people, but we manage the processes, we manage the inputs. And what that looks like from an Amazon standpoint is making sure head count's in the right place, making sure that everyone knows exactly what the outcomes are for their different areas for the day, and then just watching the numbers. Like Amazon is a very intense place, so when people hear the intensity, some people take it negatively, some people take it positively. I take it positively. Amazon's a very driven place. Like it's a place of high standards. It's not going to allow you to come in and relax and to coast. It's going to absolutely push you outside your comfort zone. It's absolutely going to ensure that you're getting better day in and day out. But that is very controlled, because once you know the plan, once you know what you need to execute on, it's simply reviewing what went wrong yesterday, what can we do better today, and then what are the actions that to take, so that we consistently get better. And then at the end of the day, right, we are obsessed with making sure our customers are getting that package. As you know, the world, it went from 5 days getting a package, great. 3 days getting a package, great. 2 days getting a package, great. We are now shipping packages same day.
I know.
So that level of intensity requires innovation. It requires the to challenge the standard and understand that a new norm is not 2 days. Like that's yesterday. Now it is, how do we get the packages the same day? So you do have to have that technical know-how to understand, like, hey, these are things we need to do daily, and understanding that at the end of the day, we have to get the customers their packages. So just to sum it up, I would say that life as a leader in Amazon is one where you're consistently pushed outside your comfort zone.
Yep.
You're going to be paired with the best people. I have not found another company that has just driven ambition, people that are willing to help you succeed. So you're not going to be alone in your journey. And then the last thing is, you're absolutely going to get results at Amazon. Like, there's nowhere around it. Performance does
Yeah.
matter, and outcomes matter here. So
Yeah, I always felt like the way somebody described it to me one time is, if you like, there's working out and then there's working out with a personal trainer. And the personal trainer is pushing you constantly outside of your comfort zone to the point where you probably wouldn't be able to do that on your own. Some people can, but most people can't. But that personal trainer can do that. And that's kind of what Amazon is like. There's always just this personal trainer there that's like, one more rep, fix your form, all this stuff. And you're like, go away. But at the end of the day, it's actually making you stronger. It's making you better. But the difference with Amazon, I think, is that they clear a path for you so that you can achieve those goals in front of you, right? Remove your barriers. You hear that everywhere you go inside Amazon FC. So it's not just pushing, they're also putting a lot of work into giving you the tools and the resources and removing all those barriers so that then you can go. And I think that's part of the secret sauce there is, yeah, there's the push and it's famous and the whole thing, but at the end of the day, it makes you better, it makes you healthy, and they've cleared the path for you in order for you to go forward. So I've always respected that. And, and some people, like, I talk with a lot of people, they want to know about Amazon, and they imagine it being just this like perfect place where everything works, all the systems work all the time. I'm like, it's not really that way. I mean, yeah, they have a lot of automation and everything, but it's still machinery breaks no matter where you go. People issues are the same no matter where you go. Like, there's still a lot of like leadership that's required. It's not as if you just go in there and press the button and off it goes and you win. I mean,
yeah.
it's good, but it's not quite that good yet. So
Yep.
all right, so let me ask this question. Outside of Amazon, talking about the industry as a whole, fulfillment center industry as a whole, distribution centers, and the whole, like, because I know you have experience at other ones too. So, what do you think about? What are your feelings overall about the state of that industry? And have you noticed any misconceptions that people who are not in the industry that they might have about the people that work inside there, or what life is like in there? So what's your overall feeling of the state of it all now?
Yep. My overall feeling, of course, this may be a little bit biased, but more than ever, leadership is needed, right?
Yeah.
With the way that AI is coming in and the misconceptions around AI replacing people, AI taking over people's jobs, it depends on how you look at that. And what I would say is, leadership is not going anywhere, right? At the end of the day, people are always going to be a part of the process. Why? Because people fix equipment, people move boxes, and I would say that the biggest transition that we're seeing now is it's the same as back in the day where you had your paper and you were picking by paper, right? You get the paper, you go pick the order, you put the labels on, and then it went to, oh, a machine can put the labels on and still get the packages out, right? We're going into an era now where some of the data and some of the things that used to take a while to do, right? Like, and I'll use this term and I'll kind of describe it, very big on Amazon at looking at data, going back and bridging information, what went wrong, where were the misses, and using data, right? And I tell people, if you fight AI, that is when you will get replaced. And what I mean by that is at the speed, right? 5-day shipping, 3-day shipping, 2-day shipping, same day shipping. That means that we need to be like Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit, talking to the computers, allowing it to help us get this information faster so that as leaders, we don't get lost in meetings, we don't get lost in the data. And what I believe AI to actually do is to allow us, if we're leaders of good character, to be more on the floor with the team. Why? Because now we have AI that what took me 2 or 3 hours to do takes me 15 minutes now, right? I
Yep.
can pull data and I can prompt AI and say, hey, where were the misses? What was the blah, blah, blah? And it shoots it out within minutes. So what used to take two hours to bridge takes 15 minutes now. So what does that mean, right? That means that as a leader that is people first, understanding how people fit within the processes and how to scale. Now it's like, hey, I've got my time back.
Yep.
Now it's time for me to teach the team about AI. How do we use it? How do we make our jobs easier so that we can up level the leadership, because at the
Mhm.
end of the day it takes a leader to utilize AI for the benefit of people, not to replace people, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say that there's not a negative sense of AI, because absolutely, we've seen Amazon has released, you know, people, right? A business is
Yep.
always going to right side, and we have to understand that. But the people that choose to see AI as a working partner and choose to utilize it, it's going to find that I'm getting my time back. I'm able to
Yep.
do more things with the least amount of time. And now I'm really able to invest in the people. So, what I'm hoping that AI does is it allows leadership to get back to the heart of the matter, which is the people, right? And
Yep.
delivering value to people through the use of AI. And by that, we see the profitable growth. We see where we can scale systems and do those things as AI partners with people, not eliminates it. So I would say that's what I'm looking about, thinking about the overall state of just where work in general is headed.
Yeah, and I mean, everything always advances. Like, look at a car. I mean, the truck that I drove in high school, like now you have cruise control in the car. You used to have to put in a CD or a tape. Now you don't have to do that. You used to have to look at a map when you're driving. Now you don't have to look at a map. There's the GPS, and so but you still have to drive the car, but now you have all this new time, and so people listen to books on tape or they listen to podcasts and they get what was all this time that they had to spend driving the car. Now they can also sort of like fill that gap in with personal development, right? Which is kind of like what you were talking about there. And that's what I always say with leaders over the years that will say, well, we don't have time for this. We don't have, like, no, you're not spending your time wisely. And that's a good thing about Amazon is because all the time is tracked, you know where it's all going. And so if you get time back, the expectation is that you invest that time in something else that's going to help you grow even more in the future. And that's kind of the Amazon way. And not every company is doing that. And that's what you're saying. Like, hey, all this time back because AI handles it all now. Now I'm going to develop my team who's going to develop more leaders. And now it's like the flywheel, the leadership flywheel, off we go. And there we are. So, yeah, I appreciate that you're not completely anti AI, and I don't think people should be anti AI either. I think they should use it as a tool, just like how you use everything in your car as it got better. So now let me ask you this. So what you you have many different types of people that come work in an Amazon FC. And I've talked about this on the podcast before too. All shapes and sizes, creed, walks of life, you name it. So, what are some of your, ways that you've been able to get all of your people, all of your team, all of your leaders sort of pulling in the same direction and pulling at full speed? Because one of the risks of having a very big and diverse team like that is you have the temptation where everybody has their own little feeling, their own little sect, and they're not all pulling the same way. So how do you get everybody on board and pulling the same way and at full strength when they're working in there? Because I would think that would be a challenge.
Yeah, and sometimes it is, right? Of course, with Amazon, and I'll just share this. The team I'm with now, I have changed teams every 3 months, right?
Oh man,
So, uh, yeah,
oh, wow, that's
so
quick.
so what that means is you really, when it comes to leadership, you really need a system. It cannot be random. You have to know exactly what is needed, right? And I would say the first thing, one is always establishing trust. That trust is not with me coming in giving commands. That trust is not with me telling people how to do their job, exactly how to do it when the first time I'm meeting. For me, that trust is established by one, spending time, right? How do you build
Yeah.
trust if you're not spending time with people? You need to understand how they tick. What are their motivations? What are their goals, right? And usually I do this in a formatted way and a very casual way. I use the framework of GROW,
Cool.
which is number one, I want to understand people's goals, right? At Amazon, pretty much everyone you're going to come across is very ambitious. They have goals.
Yeah.
I want to understand those goals. I want to understand the reality of those goals. Where is this person at? Where are their strengths? Where are their weaknesses? And how can I support them? Right. That is the first thing I do to establish trust, is to let them know, like, hey, I'm here for the business, but I'm also here for you. And I want to help support you by removing those barriers. Sometimes it's tough conversations given in love, where it's just like, hey,
Mm,
if you want this goal, these are the behaviors that I'm seeing that need to get changed, but also here's your strengths. And I think you're not fully diving in here. Then it's moving to those, like, that's the opportunities, right? Like, what areas can we grow in? How can I help support you? And then the way forward, it's helping that individual, not giving them the answer, but asking the questions, and saying, hey, what is the next step that you need to take? What can we do? Not next week, not even tomorrow. What is one thing that we can do today to get us on the right on this track to achieving your goals? And then by that, as I do that with everyone, I start to see the picture of, this person's strong here. I can place them here for their goals. I can give them the outcome, a house, a win-win for the business. And then I begin to strategically place my leaders in those areas. And what I have found is when leaders are excited, right? They
mm,
feel like they're growing. It's a stretch, but it's not too much to where they feel like it's unrealistic, and they're doing things that they actually want to do. And this is where knowing your team matters, right? When I go on Amazon, I have meetings. They want decisions now. I don't have time
yeah.
to go ask the team for, I'm going to put this person here. No, no, no. They want decisions right then and there. Who's owning what? Here's the outcome. And the problem that I've seen with most leaders is they just start shooting out names. And
Yep.
what they end up doing is demotivating their leaders, because they have just placed them in something that not only they hate, but it actually may be a weakness. And it
Yep.
actually may cause them now to be demotivated. And this is why I say that trust is the number one thing, right? So once you do that, now it's my job as a leader to tie all of that in. And my framework for that is I have themes for the quarter. So right now I have a theme of build. That build, I'm on a new team. I have different leaders. Most of all of my AMs, the people that's under them, are new, right? So right now, our theme for Q1 is build, and build means basically it's focused heavily on training. I want to make sure that the core roles that we need to be successful in, the team is getting trained in. Everyone is at least at 70% operating at those things, because at the end of the day, one thing I've learned is if people are not competent, they're not going to be motivated.
Oh,
Often they're not. So motivation increases as people become competent. You will find people that may have a little motivation, but when they start to feel like they're getting good at something and they know what to do and they're able to teach others and things become like, man, I got this, that motivation starts to rise. So the first thing I make sure is that everyone for this quarter is trained in our key role areas. So it's not looking at what this person can do, but it's more so looking at what roles are needed and where do we need to start getting people trained, and being very systematic about that. So also building out SOPs, making sure that as we're getting trained, we're also documenting this so that when other people come in the business, like the nature of Amazon, people are getting promoted, people are making moves, people are going to short-term assignments. You can have a team of 5 and go down to a team of 2 real quick.
All the time.
And what burns people out is not having a mechanism for how do we train and how do we build up leaders to get them up to speed, not in 2 or 3 months, but can we get someone up to speed in a month, 3
Yep.
weeks, 2 weeks? How do we take that timeline down? And once you have that, everyone is pretty much working on the same thing because, hey, here's the theme, team. This is where we're going. The team trusts you as a leader because they know that I know Carlos has my back. I know because he supports me. There's tangible evidence to show that Carlos is supporting me. So I know if I'm uncomfortable, it's for a reason. There's a why behind it that's going to help me get to where I'm trying to go for the goals. And then I'd say that last piece is people seeing people get promoted. There's nothing more motivating than people knowing that, hey, when I go to Carlos's team, I know that we're not only going to work hard and have fun and make history, but I'm also going to put myself in a position to where I can get promoted, I can move up, whatever that may be, whatever that looks like for the person. They know that their goals are also going to be achieved as a result. So I would say that's how you get everyone pulling in the same direction, because you have a vision, you have leaders that are showing up, that's excited to do the work. That rolls down to the people that I sometimes can't touch because, man, my leader's excited. I had this conversation with Carlos. He's excited. Man, people are
Yeah.
getting promoted. And now that creates that flywheel of the system of, okay, each one teach one, everyone's winning, and people are moving ahead. And if I do my part, I have a realistic opportunity to do the same, to get promoted, to put my family in a better situation, myself in a better situation. So that is normally how I go about developing leaders and ensuring that we are all pulling in that same direction.
Yeah, and that's so great, and I've told that to young managers that I've mentored over the years too. That is where the rubber meets the road, and I say, this is gonna be difficult, but training and developing is the way for you
Yep.
in your own career for success, and here are all the reasons why. However, this is why they pay you the quote unquote big bucks as an ops leader, because there is pressure to not do it. Because there's pressure to, I don't have time for this because we have to go execute. We have to do this. This is coming in the way. And the temptation is just always put it on the back burner because you're so busy just putting out the fires and running ops. But
Yep.
that hurts you in the long run. So it's going to hurt you in the short term when you make the investment to train and everything. And you're going to have to deal with some pressure. Hey,
Yep.
why did you invest all this time in this? Why did you have all this time in this? It should have been going to direct labor out on the floor. So that's the hard part of being a leader in the Amazon FC world is you have to do what you know is right, even in the face of pressure. It's not always going to be easy. And sometimes people aren't, they're not expecting that. They don't understand that I'm going to be caught. I'm like, yes, you're caught in the middle. Yes, you're caught in the middle. That is called being an ops leader at Amazon. You're
Yep.
caught in the middle of two things. So, yeah, I love that, man. So let me ask you this. Do you see any difference, Carlos? Because, I tell this to people all the time. You get there's salaried managers in Amazon, AMs and ops leaders and senior ops, but there's also a lot of leaders on the floor that are hourly too. You get your floor leads and PAs. And so do you see any different growth impediments from an hourly floor leader level that you see from a salaried manager level, or is it the same for them? Because those two worlds are slightly different sometimes, but sometimes they're a little bit the same. They can look the same inside Amazon FC sometimes too. So what do you see about challenges to growth for both those people?
Yeah, so I do want to get to that, but I do want to talk about something that you stated, and I feel like it ties in great with this next question. And that is the I don't have time. I tell leaders all the time, right? Like in Amazon, we have the leadership principle, invent and simplify, right? How do you
Yep.
simplify making time? And it's so easy. John Maxwell teaches it. It's when you're doing something, just bring someone with you.
Yep.
You're gonna make a plan. Guess what? Hey, I want you to just come see what I'm doing. Bring a notebook, take
Yep.
some notes. I am eventually going to have you do this yourself, but for right now, come sit beside me while I do this. Will it take you slightly longer to do it? Yes, because there are going to be some points where you stop, you talk, hey, this is why I'm doing this, but guess what? By you simply choosing to invest in a leader that is hungry, someone that wants to grow, guess what? They're going to take the initiative. They're going to take the notes. They're going to ask the questions. They're going to be ready to implement it. And that's our job as a leader to identify those that are hungry and give them the opportunity. I tell my leaders all the time, I am not asking you to do anything different. All I'm doing is asking you to bring someone along. Hey, come do this with me. Hey, come see this. That's step number one. Step number two is as I am doing it, right? I'm going to allow you to do it, right? Let's say you've
Yep.
got your notes, you've seen me do it. I'm going to
Yep.
be right beside you. You do it, and I'll coach you through it. They start doing that, they get comfortable, they have questions. And in this phase, it's very, this is how you need to do it. Now, when they get to the next phase, hey, you know the outcome of us developing the plan. I'm okay with you doing, you coming up with the how now, right? I am
Yep.
totally okay with that. You do it. I'm going to go do something else. Guess what I just did? I just freed up time because
Yep.
now a leader, it's not dumping because one, they're hungry, they're wanting to develop. I've tied this to a goal. They're excited to do the job. And it's a win-win. Now I'm just freed myself. If I need to uh go to an area that's having an issue, I can go do that now. They're doing it. Hey, if you have questions, ask. Right? Now the last step of that is I need you to someone else and the sentences that we just did, I need you to teach that to someone else. So at this point, I'm not asking for a leader to set aside some golden time of training. All I'm doing is, hey, just come see me, right? Leadership is
Yep.
more caught than taught, right? I want you to
Yep.
catch what I'm doing. And the only way to do that is to have you come and sit with me. Now, as it goes from the differences between the hourly and a salary person, I look at it like there's just different phases for
Mm.
leadership, right? I have a whole new team of hourly supervisors that have just joined. These are people that are high performers, but here's the thing: they're high performers that have only had to worry about themselves, right?
Yep.
Now, I try to do a good job with filtering out the people that are, yes, you're a high performer, but if you're 100% and I put you in leadership and the people that were at 80 now go to 50, I like you being a high performer, but maybe not a leader. So I look for those people that are hungry that may not be the top performers, but their character, their mindset, their will, their coachability. I know that if I put them in a leadership
Yep.
position, that the people around them are going to go from being at 80 to a 90 just because of the personality and the character of that person. So that's one thing. The second thing is teaching the leaders. I say it's the three things that all leaders going to face going from a individual contributor to a leader. Number one, you have got to learn how to delegate, right? You can't do it yourself. A high performer will try to do everything. They won't communicate. They'll burn out. And usually they'll burn out. And that's when they'll have the aha moment of, oh man, I've been doing this wrong. I'm like, yeah. So, but here's the deal. This is why we hired is something you have to learn. We teach them how to delegate. We teach them how to communicate, how to positively influence people, right? There are leaders that come in Amazon. It's like, well, I'm the leader. They should do
Yeah.
exactly what I tell them to do. They should have the same work ethic as me. And it's like, it doesn't work that way, man.
Yeah.
I'm a and I still go up to people. And if I see something, I say, "Hey, excuse me. Hey, what is your name? Hey, Jacob. Ah, man, Jacob. Hey, man, thank you for coming to work today. I have a huge favor to ask you. We are
Yeah.
struggling in this side of the building. Do you mind going over to help? As soon as you're done with that, I will make sure that you get right back to the area." And I'm telling them the why. Hey, the reason why we're having to move you is this. A lot of leaders are shocked when I bring them along that I'm not just telling people what to do. I'm
Mm.
taking the time to communicate the why. So that's the second thing, teaching them how to communicate. And then the third thing is really teaching them to have a different perspective, right?
Mm.
It's not just about your area. Now you have to think, yes, you're responsible for your area, but how does that tie into the bigger outcome of what we're trying to do for our sword? And that's usually the level I leave it at for an hourly. Like, this is what we're trying to do for our shift that we're working. And how does your area tie into that? And then how do you communicate with your peers, right? If your area is low on work and another area is struggling, hey, as a leader, our job is, hey, team, I'm actually 20 people over. I hear that such and such, you all are struggling in your
Yep.
area. I have 20 people. Hey, how can I help? Right. And getting that. And I would say those are the three things that I have found has been the most effective with someone coming from the floor to moving into that hourly lead position. And then as you go to the salary, it's kind of the same thing, right? It's just different levels to different scales. So I always tell leaders, never get away from your fundamentals, because the fundamentals at each level just grow in scale. They just grow in complexity, but you never get away from the fundamentals. You're always going to
Yeah.
plan. So,
Yeah, I think, and you mentioned a great point that a lot of young junior leaders completely miss, and that is your area is important and you should have ownership of your area, but you're a part of the whole and you want the whole to succeed. It's like, yeah, I'm a defensive coordinator on a football team, but the head coach cares about the whole team. The owner of the team cares about winning, not just if the defense played good or not, you know? And so I think that's something that junior leaders mess up all the time. I'm good. You know, we hit great. Yeah, but you had an
yep.
opportunity to chip in and help the whole building succeed, and you didn't do that. And even though you had a good day in your area, it still showed a lack of maturity and a lack of strategic vision and concerns that we have about you as a leader, and that's a fail. And so people sometimes don't put that together. So I
Yep.
really like that. So I want to talk about your book because I mentioned in the promo you have a published book. It's on I've seen it on LinkedIn available, called The Leadership Reset. 30 days to redefine how you lead and win. And if there's anything in here that you've already talked a little bit about on this show, which I hope there is, I think it's going to be a fantastic book because you brought up some really great points. But you need to tell us a little bit of a preview of the book, the history of it, and how it's been received thus far, because I think this is a really cool thing.
Yep. So this is actually my second book. The first one was Proverbial Success, and that was a book I wrote earlier in my career. And just once again, this all goes back to my mission, right? I am just trying to help as many people as possible reach their potential, and the vehicle that I have chosen to do that through is leadership, right? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, the most important person you're ever going to lead is the man in the mirror. So if you get that person right, everything else
Yep.
will take care of itself. So the leadership reset really came about because at Amazon, I did a training in Vegas called the Essence of Excellence program, and
Okay. Cool.
what I found was that it didn't matter which first mile, middle mile, last mile, right? It didn't matter what network or part I went to. There was one common theme. Every leader was experiencing mental burnout or burnout
Mm.
at some sort. And what I was really trying to do with the book, just from hearing from different leaders in Amazon, was I was really trying to help give them a leadership mental reset, something that they can read daily. It's actionable, right? It hits, and I call it the H3 framework. It hits the head, it hits the heart, it hits the hands. So it's like it gets you
Oh,
thinking right, it puts
I
your
like that.
heart in the right perspective,
Yeah.
and then it activates your hands, right? Like, what do I need to
Yeah.
do with this information? So it's things that are, and Mac's story uses this a lot. Things that are commonly taught but rarely practiced. So
I like that.
it I have
Another
just
golden
found that
nugget from Mac. Oh, that
Another government from
show.
but it really just helps people understand that at the end of the day, like, you will forget the information. You have to keep feeding yourself these nuggets and these principles. And I have just found that reading daily, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be 5, 10 minutes. Just, I don't care if it's a page a day. And that's basically what this book is. It's really a page a day. You read and it's something simple as implement. It might be a lesson there that just talks about, hey, leadership is more called than taught, right? That is head. The heart of that is people are only going to work to the level that they feel that you care. If you're not present, if they don't see you, if they don't hear from you, and the first time that you have an interaction, it is to ask them to do something or to tell them to do something, where's the trust and where's the relationship, right? So
Yeah.
the thing that it's telling leaders to do is, yes, I know you're busy. Yes, I know there's meetings. Yes, I know there's demand from on up high. There's demands from below. There's demands everywhere.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, if you're in a leadership position, you are there to solve a problem, not just a business problem, but a people problem. And the best thing that you can do is to say, hey, I don't care if it's 10 minutes today. I am going on the floor. I am going to walk and I'm not going to talk about business. I'm going to walk up to see like how this person's
Yep.
body language is a little off. Hey,
Yep.
how's everything going? And most of the time, the response you'll get is work is great. Work, 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 work. Hey, I'm not asking
Uh,
about that. How
yep.
are you doing? And is there anything that I can do to make today a better experience for you? And the reason I came and talked to you, I noticed that your body language is a little off. Now, I could be wrong, but is there anything that's going on that maybe we need to talk through and that I can be a support system for you? And you'll find like, ah, man, thank you. I'm struggling with this. And you're able to
Yep.
help them. And guess what happens? You help one person. As a leader, you will feel like, man, I didn't have an impact. That was just one person. But here's the deal that I have found that one person, guess what they go do? They go talk to 10 other people. They go talk
That's
to
right.
15. Man, Carlos, man, he came, he really checked in, da da da.
Yep.
Da. And guess now that positive influence is being built. But it
Yep.
all started because you chose to be intentional. You chose to walk the floor. You chose to go and deal with an issue that is outside of work and to be there for a person, a human being. And guess what that person did? They
Yep.
went and they said something, and that's how influence builds positively. And that is one thing I want leaders to understand, that it's not the big things that you do, it's not the event, it is the daily process. It is how you show up daily, it's how you talk to
Yep.
someone. It is those things that your leadership legacy is going to be built about. And that's what I hope that the leadership reset does, right? They read something, it affects their head, it affects their heart, and it causes them to do something with their hands that is leadership led and that affects people in a positive way.
That's great, man. And I love the fact that you're bringing up the heart into it. Is sometimes in this industry, things can they can be very transactional, and sometimes people shy away from the heart piece because I just don't want to go there, and it's weird. But I've always felt like that's a missed opportunity because the heart is it's the engine, man. Like that's the
Yep.
engine of people. That's what runs people. And so you want to talk about ROI? How about this ROI? Like you just said, I want to talk with this guy for 2 minutes to check in with him, and boom, 2 minutes. What's the cost of that? Nothing. And out of it, I get great performance from him the rest of the week. Plus, he force multiplies it and he tells 10 other people. Plus, when it's time for me to come up for promotion 6 to 10 months later, I got all these people who are vouching for me, who are backing me for, you know what I mean? Like ROI, come on. That I understand that ROI doesn't show up directly in the Excel spreadsheet, but it's there, right? And I tell people, so don't miss out on that. So I love that, man. That the head and the heart and the hands. I've never heard that before. I love that. That's very insightful, man, and good on you. That's really good. I think you really hit into the heart of it with that. So all right, my friend. So, last question of the show: where can people find out more about you? I follow you on LinkedIn. I know you have a lot of followers on LinkedIn. You're putting out lots of free stuff there. Just nuggets of wisdom and everything. So, but where can people find out more about you, and what do you got cooking up for 2026 and beyond? Maybe.
Yep. So man, I am primarily on LinkedIn because a large part of my audience is leadership. It's leaders. It is people that identify with being a high performer, and those that are essentially trying to get into the leadership. So I hang out on LinkedIn. People can message me there. Some things that are cooking up, man. And there's just I feel blessed, right? I am beginning teaching, so getting to impact
Oh yeah.
some students with principles
Yeah.
of leadership.
Cool.
And I am also working on something called the Standard. And what it is, I'm starting first because most of the people that reach out to me are reaching out. For advice on how to get promoted, wanting to increase their finances, of course, with inflation. So I am in the works of building out a very short book that is really focused on the tactical part. And it's an 8 step system. I call it the Standard, but it's 8 steps and a system to helping underpaid leaders get to 6 figures. So that's something that I'm really big on because in operations, if you get to ops manager and certain levels, like 6 figures is definitely a reasonable goal. So want to impact leaders there, especially the ones that have the heart and the character of a leader. I want to make sure that they are not underpaid, because what I have found is that leaders that are typically of great character and good hearts, they do not have a system for making sure that they are, yes, you're serving people, but I need you to get promoted because I need that character to impact more people. And I have just found that they don't have a way to showcase their skills in a way that feels authentic and not in a way that feels salesy or self promotion. So that book will be released in January, sometime this month. I'm waiting on the proof to
Good.
come in, but it's an 8 system book. If you follow it, you keep doing that same play for
Yeah.
90 days consistently, you will get promoted. I have help people come from the floor. I have a couple of mentees that are actually about to surpass me using the same playbook. So I
There
want
you
to
go.
make sure that I'm sharing this knowledge with everyone because just honestly, I just don't have the time with being married, having a son, having a family
Yeah.
to do one-on-one coaching. So I try to put my things in books and sharing on LinkedIn to help people get to where they're trying to go. So that'll be
I love
coming
it.
out here in January.
I love it, man. And I mean, it's you're just putting the goodness out there. And I tell that to people all the time. Just put it out into the universe. It's like sometimes the good ones, they don't get promoted, they get looked over because they're focused on their job and the people and where they should be. And unless you have a special, leader that really sees that and brings you forward, but that doesn't always happen. I mean, there are great leaders out there that don't sell themselves very well because they haven't learned that skill. They don't know that, and it doesn't feel natural to them. So I love that personally on a personal level. I love that book that you're coming up with. I hope lots of people will check that out. I'm excited to see that, and I'm good on you, man. That's fantastic. That's great. I love that. That's going to be that would have been valuable for me 10, 15 years ago. And so I know that will be valuable to people out there that are coming up the ranks. So awesome. All right, my friend. Well, this was awesome having you on the show. It's great to have, it's cool to have people come on, talk about technology and everything, but I love to have people come on and just talk about ops, pure ops and leadership and development and all that, because that's what people want to know. That's where we come from. And that's what people want to know. So a great chat with you, my friend. You're welcome back to come on the show anytime. This was awesome. Thank you much for your being honest and genuine and authentic. And there's a lot of good stuff that you're working on, dude. So good on you, and good luck to you and 2026, and my best to the family.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, and take care, my friend. All right, guys, that concludes episodes number 33. Carlos Cody, just a fantastic guest, a fantastic leader, right? Like, if you want to grow and learn about leadership from somebody who is walking the walk and talking the talk, he's your guy. Check out his book today, and the one that he's going to release later this month. I'm really excited about that. It's going to be really cool. As the Warehouse Underground goes, like I always say, please sign up for the community if you haven't done that. We have almost 250 people that are signed up for the community. Inside the community, we have message boards, networking with other members, some live events that we've done in the past, and more coming down the pipe for 2026. So become a member. It's free. and a very good place to be and hang out and gather some knowledge and wisdom. Also, check out the Tiger Team Show, episode number 8, our New Year's Eve episode just released this morning with Jordan and I. So we have 3 banger stories that are hilarious that have happened in the world of fulfillment centers that you guys will not want to miss on that show. So check that out. It's wit, humor, and sarcasm with things that are happening in the world of distribution centers and fulfillment centers. We think you will like it. As this podcast goes, thank you again, Carlos Cody. I will see you guys next week for episode number 35. Thank you. God bless.